Well, News Corp polling suggests Australians are broadly in favour of nuclear energy. 923 people across the country were asked if they believe nuclear power has a place in Australia's future energy mix. 60% said yes, 40% said no. 47% of responders say they would be happy with a nuclear reactor being built in their state or region. But only 38% of those surveyed say it would make them more likely to vote for the coalition. Joining me live now is the Nationals leader, David Littleproud. David, what do you think about that? Few mixed results might not get you over the line.
Well, it's about doing the right thing by the country, and that's why we've taken this principled position of strong leadership. This all renewables approach is what people are feeling come out of their wallet at the moment. And so we have to have base load power. You can't go to an all renewables approach if you want to have manufacturing in this country, you want to keep the lights on. But what it also shows, if you drill down into the regions that are the hosts of these nuclear power plants that we're proposing, there is support. There is over 50% support because they have energy literacy. And if you drill down even further in some of the polling the Nationals have done, that was released even in Clare, where 63% of people in Lithgow and in Bathurst and Orange want one, is they understand it's not just about jobs, it's actually about long-term reduced energy prices and a reliable energy grid because they have energy literacy. And so that's why, and what they've also concerned about is having our future tied up with transmission lines, wind turbines and solar panels laid all over our landscape, which also hasn't been taken into account by any of the experts about how much of our food security be lost, how much that'll cost you in driving up your food prices. So we see a future for regional Australia. We want to have a zero emissions future, and let us do it through nuclear energy with gas and CCS and some renewables, but in an environment it can't destroy.
I mean, what this has exposed as well, yes, renewables will do part of the job and they will be eventually cheaper, but we still need that baseload power for when the sun doesn't shine, the wind doesn't blow and batteries aren't quite up to scratch. But the problem here as well, David, is that there has not been any bipartisanship on energy policy and the future direction of energy for around 20 years. In many ways, that has contributed to the price problems we're having now. So with that in mind, this is a bold approach. You take it to the next election. If you don't get up, what's next? Is there going to be some kind of truce, détente on energy? Because that might help.
Well, they're feeling that now. Anthony Albanese promised a reduction in your energy bill by $275. Yep. He spent $6.5 billion just alone from the Commonwealth, beyond what the states have also added, in trying to reach that in subsidies. And in fact, instead of going down by 275, they've gone up by over 700. And that's because he's ripped supply out of the grid. And supply, particularly with things like gas, where they demonise gas, and I can speak with experience, I lost a $1 billion project through Cenex that was going to put 60 petajoules in the first tranche, another 60 petajoules after that, which is 10% of the East Coast market, all stripped away because they demonise with safeguards mechanism, codes of conduct, price caps. You need to drive prices down by increasing supply. And that's why we're saying we're going to the Australian people seeking a mandate to not put all our energy eggs in one basket, not to have concentration risk, to spread them, and to buy insurance for our country into the future, not only in terms of challenges that might come with gas down the future, but then have that with firming power that they're with nuclear, as well as some renewables into the system. And that's why a mixed approach is a sensible approach, and the rest of the world's doing it, and why wouldn't we?
It is a mixed approach has to be the way forward. Even if you get to 80% renewables, there's still that 10 to 20% of, what feeds into the grid to stabilise those renewable power. But this plan, 7 nuclear reactors, do we have any idea about what percentage of it might feed into the grid? Will 7 reactors provide 10% of our power? Will it be more or less?
Yeah, look, and we'll announce that with the costings in a future date, and we're going to be upfront with the Australian people so they understand that mix about what that transition of some of our coal-fired power stations to nuclear will look like, along with gas and carbon capture storage, along with renewables, and that's about getting the right mix and making sure that you have that with the technology that's available. While driving down prices in the long term. Because this isn't an investment for the next 10 to 20 years, which is what this government's just working on. This is one that's going to be there for 80 to 100 years. So there's a significant difference about the long-term investment in building that capacity, building that insurance into our grid for all the mixes to work, to build redundancy about something going wrong in our grid, because we do have that baseload power that is there 24/7.